nothing. I will just sit. I will open my eyes and I will just sit. I will not watch phone or nothing. I will just sit. My teacher told me to sit here 1 hour. That's it. The day your body will know, your mind will know, no matter what I do, what kind of games we play internally to disturb this person. But now he has new strategy. He is saying, okay, my mind and body doesn't let me do it, still I am going to sit. So the mind and body will say, they will give up. They will say, oh, this man has decided to sit 1 hour, irrespective of whether we support him or we don't support him, they give in. What they do? They give in and experience. Take long and deep breathing. Take long and deep breathing. Feel your presence, feel your own being. Let your mind come home inside your body. This mind keeps wandering here and there. We bring our body and mind at one place and we feel the union of our mind, body and energy. Take long and deep breathing and slowly let it go. Take long and deep breathing and slowly let it go. Slowly we'll open our eyes. How's everyone? Good. Welcome to the third session of this term. Before we start today, I would like to ask each and every one of you to share about your last week. All the challenges you faced, how did you react, how did you respond, how was your last week in terms of your spiritual progress, in terms of your daily practice, in terms of your daily diligence towards your own well-being. Reflecting on our last week and to see what progress we have made so far. So can I ask to start from here?
Last week went quite well. We started trying to sit for 1 hour. Initially, I was able to sit 30 minutes, then I progressed to 37 minutes. Finally, I reached to 41 minutes. Then again, come back to 35 minutes. I'm trying to sit for 1 hour, but reaching there, not quite yet. I'm not able to sit exactly for the full hour.
Okay.
42 minutes.
Even with my meditation, even with the meditation I sent.
Yes. When you send that, then I reached 42 minutes at least.
Okay.
Before that, I reached 37 minutes. But I'm still, I don't have any pains or anything while sitting, but the sensations, sometimes it gets too strong. I was not able to hold after that. I'm trying to, because...
That's okay. That is what we had to overcome, our sensation in our body. Everything about our life is just a sensation, pleasant or unpleasant. That's it, nothing else. So as long as we are aware about our sensation and we are not reacting to it, no matter how strong sensations are. But as you said that you reach 42 minutes, soon you will reach 30 minutes as well. Because those who have done Vipassana, they know we did 10 days course. The meditation starts at 4 o'clock in the morning and finishes around 8 o'clock in the evening. And in 1 hour's interval, so each, I think, day, we do more than 10 hours of meditation. Okay? So in 10 days, around 100 hours. So initially when we started, and that 10 days course is same for everyone. There is no category of beginner, intermediate or advanced. Have you noticed that? Like people come here, they say, oh, I am a beginner. Is there a beginner class? Oh, I am an intermediate, because Gautam Buddha said everyone is equal. There is no beginner or no intermediate. It's your mind playing game. Oh, I am a beginner. You can do far bigger thing that you don't even know. So that's why in Vipassana, there is no beginner, intermediate or expert. Everyone goes there, has to do exactly same, whether you have done 10-day course for 10 times or whether you are doing it first time. There is no intermediate or expert level. Same level for everyone. How was your week in terms of reacting? How was in terms of reacting to situations?
It was quite good. I mean, I didn't react to much.
Arguments, angers, disagreements.
Didn't have much arguments this week. I mean, we are getting better day by day. Like when we started with you before, we were having a lot of arguments, but now it's going very less now. I mean, the days are less which we have arguments now.
So overall, out of 100%, if you have to rate last week in terms of happiness, blissfulness, what is the percentage we are looking at?
I reached 70%.
70%.
But
That's
at
good.
least, one thing has been good, like sitting and watching your sensations. As you know, my shoulder has been hurt for last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I was not reacting. I mean, I didn't thought of it. I just said it's okay. It's there. Let it be there, and I
Yep.
do my work, whatever I
You
do.
carry on with your
I
life.
carry on.
Good. How about you, Jasprit?
Lastly, we both together did a meditation, but during the meditation, I found that with,
It's okay. Take your time.
during the meditation, I found that I'm feeling a lot of sensation. Like in between, I feel a lot of sensation. But after some time, I feel that I'm normal. I had overcome my sensation. I found that, before the last week, when I start meditation, I found a lot of thoughts. Lot of thoughts are coming in my mind. But the last week, I found that no thought I found during meditation.
Okay.
And I feel relaxed in my mind.
How about arguments, anger, frustration, disagreement? How would you rate last week?
I feel relaxed. We feel
Out of 100% given the perfect week, what is the percentage we are looking at?
it's 80%.
80%? That's good. What about you, Sushil?
It was a great session here, like for 1 hour. It was like I didn't even feel it was 1 hour. So it was
Yeah.
one of the best meditation sessions I ever come across. And the sensations they keep getting.
How was your practice last week?
It was good. I've been doing a lot of meditation at home, and sometimes 15 minutes, 45 minutes, half an hour. So went on like that. So it gives me, obviously, a lot of monkey mind. So
Yeah.
the other thoughts comes and go. So I didn't pay a lot of notice to those there.
The reason I am asking this question is, understand why I am asking this question. Okay. Many times I see people doing meditation. Okay. Then they do yoga, they do wellness classes with me. and they carry on with their life the way they are. Okay? They don't watch. So meditation is not the destination, meditation is a process. What I need to see, what kind of human being I am becoming. Is there improvement in me in terms of my stubbornness, my righteousness, my opinion, my hard opinion about things and people, or I have becoming more flexible, or I have becoming more tolerant, or I have becoming more accommodating, or I am becoming more loving, because that is the ultimate goal. Unless and until those transformation doesn't happen in you, what is the point of doing anything? So we have to check that every week by week by week, otherwise we come here, we do here, we feel good, we feel relaxed, then I go home and I carry on same old person. That is not we are here for. So I need to find out that what changes are coming into me, and that has to be observation every week, every day. How was my week? Okay, I did one last session with 1 hour meditation. Then what happened? How did I behave next day? Have I created aversion? Have I created anger? Have I created unpleasant circumstances for other people? How did I react to any challenges life might have thrown at me? Because if I do 1 hour meditation every day, there needs to be certain changes in me, or I am not doing it correctly.
Actually, my wife says that I'm more calmer than I was before, so she has noticed something in me.
Okay, that's good then. If your wife saying that, then there's something is working in you. But what do you overall, if you are to honestly rate my mind state last week, my quality of life last week, if 100% being the best of the best, quality of my mind, quality of my life and my actions, how would you rate your last week out of 100?
It's a process, as you said, and I think I would give myself about, as Karan said, about 70%.
70%.
It's
Okay. So still we have not reached towards 100%. But I want us to reach at least 95%. How much? Yeah, I won't say 100%. I am saying our progress should be till 95%. Because I know as long as we are in this body and mind, we are never going to achieve those 5%, because mind and body is going to play the games. But those games needs to be minimal. That's why the 5%. Those irritation needs to be 5%. Okay? 5% means as good as nothing. If I am angry 100%, then we want to reduce it to 5%. So 95. So as when you reduce that, obviously you become a better person. How about you, Sonia? How was you?
I enjoyed watching your video.
Sorry?
I enjoyed watching your video.
Whose video? My videos. Those I am putting up.
Yeah, you said on WhatsApp.
Yes, yes.
I enjoyed watching this video. But I'm not progressing very well. So,
You are not progressing very well.
not in the silence.
Yeah.
I can meditate for a long time with music, and I can meditate with guided meditation.
Yeah.
But in the silence is challenging for me still.
Yes. Because, see, many people, especially in Western world, okay, the meditation and yoga, they took it from India, and unfortunately they corrupted it, everything. So they do all sort of wrong things with meditation. For example, they will do guided meditation, they will do sleeping meditation, they will do all kind of wrong thing. Those wrong meditation have damaged people more than bringing the real essence. If I tell you the real meditation is not about peace. Real meditation is not about harmony. Real meditation is not about the pleasure. Many times what happens, you are sitting in meditation, somebody comes So suddenly you start reacting. Oh my God, I got disturbed now. Why somebody should disturb me? What that tells you, that now I stop seeking pleasure into the external world. Now I start seeking pleasure in my meditation as well. Do you understand what is happening? Whereas meditation is simply sitting like this. Somebody comes, says, I want a glass of water. You get up, you give him a glass of water, you again come down, you sit and again start. No resistance at all. Because now I am not blaming someone to break my pleasure cycle. Because you understand what is happening? We don't want to make a meditation an object of pleasure. So when I say I don't like it or I like it, the moment you start creating choice, that means, is it a sweet you like or you don't like? Is it a dish you like or you don't like? So that means I have come out of the world liking, disliking. Now I am into this path and again I am started the same thing, like or dislike. Meditation is simply sitting and observing what is happening inside my mind, what is happening inside my body. What is pleasurable in that? It's the most boring thing. To see sensation on my hand, to see sensation in my body, to see what is going in my mind. There is no pleasure at all. Pleasure happens when somebody has taught you wrong meditation. What is wrong meditation? That they take you away from reality. Away from reality means I am sitting here and there's now you are gliding over the clouds, now this, now that. Means what is happening? They are taking your mind into the imaginary land. Means they are making you more unconscious. And meditation is done to become more conscious. I am sitting, let's suppose here with my eyes closed. And if I don't know what is exactly happening in my body, whether my mind goes into thoughts, because thought is also imagination, or my mind, somebody takes me on the guided meditation and somebody takes me to a guided journey, that is also getting involved into thoughts again. So what's the difference? See, we have developed one habit. What is that habit? That I don't want to be connected to present moment. I have created this. Let's suppose I am sitting here. My leg is paining now because I sat for a long time. But that is only paining when I am in present. The moment my mind goes into the thought, the pain disappears, because then you don't know what is happening in this moment. And we have created this habit to avoid the unpleasant sensation of the present moment. Mind has developed this technique that it goes somewhere else. So when mind is engaged somewhere else, it doesn't feel what is happening in the present moment. But whereas meditation is all about understanding what really pain is, what my leg is hurting, means exactly what is happening. Let me see what happens. They are not going to fall off. It tests your patience, it tests your willpower. Let's suppose I am sitting like here for 1 hour. Okay, suddenly my legs will be heavy, some unpleasant, they will become like a stone. And if my willpower is there, I say, no matter what happens, because I know they are not going to fall off my body. Do you understand? It's not that the train is going on my leg, it's just unpleasant sensation. Now, meditation is about how much unpleasant sensation I can watch without creating any aversion. That is the meditation. I want to see, am I strong enough to come over this unpleasant sensation? What does that train you? What does that train you in? That whenever, so let's suppose my legs are now hurting and I have consciously decided that no matter what happens with my leg, I am not going to move my leg, I am not going to react to my leg. So, first day you will do it for 5 minutes, second day you will do for 10 minutes, third day you will do for 20 minutes. Your willpower will increase. Yes or no? So now what will happen? Body will get programmed to certain threshold, that if that much pressure comes, I will handle on my body. If that much pressure comes, I will handle. I am developing a faculty of increasing my willpower. One day will come, no matter how long you sit, how difficult the pain becomes, you will develop the faculty that I am not going to react, because I know it's not going to fall off. Either that pain wins or I win. What happening? Your body is getting programmed. Now, when you go in day-to-day life outside, somebody does something to you, somebody says something wrong to you, that goes into your ear and that goes to your brain. Suddenly the pain body activates itself. But since you have practiced your willpower, since you have practiced, that will take a very big pain to shake you. Do you understand what I am saying? Once you have developed this faculty, do you understand what I am saying? Once you are practicing that no matter what kind of pain it comes, I am not going to react. So first day it will be 5%, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. One day you will come that no matter what, how much pain comes, you will practice not reacting to it. So now this is about the practice when you are doing meditation. But body doesn't know that you are practicing non-resistance to the body pain only while sitting doing meditation. Now body will get programmed even in day-to-day life when you are going here and there. It has already developed non-resistance to certain level of pain, and day by day that is increasing, that I am not going to create aversion or anger to a certain level of pain, and that certain level is increasing day by day with my practice. So what is happening when I go to office or when I go to anywhere, there is certain level of pain due to somebody said something, emotional pain, mental pain, or even sometimes physical pain. Let's suppose I have started with my leg is hurting more. Like Gaurav said, his shoulder was paining. If the shoulder pain is less than the pain he observes while doing meditation, understand this. Even the pain comes, he will not feel anything. Can he feel anything? Let's suppose my pressure is 1%. Okay? Then slowly I am practicing more. It becomes 10%, 20%, 50%. Now I have developed non-resistance for 50% of pressure or pain in my body. Okay? I have developed that with my practice. Let's suppose tomorrow I get a back pain. But that back pain is 20%. But I have developed a faculty to create no resistance till 50%. So now I am getting back pain which is at 20%. Will I react to my back pain? See what you are developing. You are developing non-resistance for your body pain. The more and more you will develop that, what will happen? That you will become invisible completely. Now no matter how big pain will come, you will treat it. You will know, okay, there is a shoulder pain. You will know there is a back pain. But you will not become miserable. You will not react, oh my God, my back is hurting. Oh my God, my leg is hurting. You know, the physical pain is there, but mental suffering is also there. When you are sitting in meditation, that is the faculty you develop. That is real meditation. Meditation is not going into trance and experiencing some alternate realities. of some heaven and hell and God knows what. Yes.
Nitaji, so that means what you're trying to tell us is, so we have real meditation. If you feel the pain, it is
Very good. Pain, somebody is there. The sensation, can you see who is there? Okay. So, what you are saying? Pain is beautiful. Pain is very good. In normal life, you will say the pain is not good. But there is nothing better than pain. When pain comes into your body while doing meditation, that's a beautiful thing. The pain comes to liberate you. Without painful sensation, how will you liberate yourself? If there is no pain sensation, what will you liberate yourself from? We are doing meditation to liberate ourselves from any kind of pain and misery. And unless and until a pain body comes or painful sensation comes, how I am going to overcome? I am sitting here, there is no pain coming. Are you getting what I am saying? If you don't get asked, sorry? Yes. Yes, so how does that connect to this? Huh? Sorry? Is childbirth pain is good or bad? Is that what you are asking? It's too much, yes. But tell me, there must be a reason why that process is that painful. Do you know the reason? It's just because of our ignorance we don't know. That's why we say good or bad. Okay? The science behind childbirth, I will tell you, nobody will tell you this. Okay? When a girl gives a birth to a child, she is a girl, she is not mother. Okay? It's not the girl gives birth to a child. A child gives birth to a mother as well. So that day, not one birth, there are two births happening. One is a birth of a child, second is a birth of mother. Now why this painful process? When a child comes, it's very painful, it's not easy. Okay? Nature has made sure that this life is very fragile life. At one hand, you are breathing. Breath is coming in, going out, coming in, going out. Next breath doesn't come, what happens? You are gone. At one hand, life is very fragile. Very fragile. Somebody just 2 minutes holds your breath, you are gone, finish. One hand, life is so fragile. On other hand, life is rock steady. No matter what kind of situation comes, you will not just go and do suicide. You will, it's very few people will go and commit suicide. Out of 7 billion people or out of 100,000 people, how many people commit suicide? Very low percentage. Because life has created that pain threshold in you. Where does that pain threshold created? There is a certain pain, there is a certain capacity of bearing the pain. Let's suppose something becomes very painful to me. I will end my life, yes or no? Something is intolerable. I cannot tolerate anymore. Whether it's a mental or whether it's emotional or whether it's physical. That's why many people, when they get sick with some certain disease which is not tolerable, they say to doctor, can we just end our life? Because when your body becomes painful, your life becomes painful, you want to end your life. But there is a certain threshold of pain that till it reaches to that level, we won't think about ending our life. Where that threshold comes from of pain? There must be some sort of a programming done in my body that body can tolerate that much pain without thinking of ending the life. You need to understand. Unless you understand, no transformation will come. So you say, I am not progressing because you need to understand. I am not telling philosophical thing, I am telling you the science behind it. What is the science behind it? When a child comes through the small hole, it's not the only mother which feels the pain. If I put you through the pipe, small pipe, that child is also feeling the pain. Do you understand what is happening? His body is getting squeezed out of a small hole. He has a bone. He is not even born. He has not seen any pain. And now you are squeezing him out of that small hole. What nature is doing? Creating the pain threshold in your body. What is doing? Yeah. It gives you first only, it's a process of life. That's how life works. No matter it's a human birth or it's an animal birth, has to same process, painful process. They have to come through the pain. There is no other. If that somehow now they do cesarean, okay? They now started doing to remove the pain and all. But there is a altogether science now working on that generation as well. So now when that child comes out, do you know that everything has a memory? Your body has a memory. Your mind has a memory. Not only your mind has a memory, your body also has a memory. So your body remembers that pain threshold from day of your birth. Your nose, my nose, that comes from your grandfather nose will not be on my face. My nose will resemble like my grandfather, my forefather, my eyes will resemble, my facial, I will look like my grandparents, right? How come that is coming? The memory of body coming into the cell from generation to generation. So the memory is not only in your head, it is on every body part you have. Your body structure, the way you are in your life. Entire thing is genetically passed on to you. Your body has a memory, your every body cell has a memory encoded into your DNA. So that pain, when you are doing meditation, I am sitting, I need to liberate myself from pain. How do I liberate myself from the pain? I take a painkiller. That's one way of liberating yourself. Yes? Or creating a willpower. That is another way. How do you will strengthen your willpower? Let's suppose I am sitting. Okay? There is no pain happening. Okay? No pain happening in my body. Now how do I create my resistance, non-resistance to any pain when there is no pain happening? Overcome, yes. But when I am doing daily, going about my life daily, I am getting different pains. But when I am meditating, I am not getting any pain. So how do I overcome? There is no way you can overcome. If you are getting pain outside, you will get pain when you are doing meditation, yes? Because it's a body, it doesn't matter whether it is here or it is going anywhere, pain is bound to come. So understand this is very minute thing. But if this thing gets clear in your head, if I am sitting today for meditating, okay, two things will happen. One, your body will start to pain. Okay? So I need to practice creating non-resistance to this pain. Day by day I need to increase that by 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Second pain, this is about body pain. Second will come mind suffering. The moment I sit, why cannot I sit? Because mind telling me, oh, I shouldn't sit. or mind is thinking, going here and there. So what is mind doing? Now mind, this is called mental suffering. One is physical pain, second is mental. So whenever you are meditating, two things will happen. One will be body pain, second will be mental suffering. And we need to create non-resistance day by day and improve on it, on physical pain and mental suffering. So what will happen when you develop this faculty? One day will come with practice, you will sit, still pain will come, okay? Still suffering will come. But one day you will practice non-resistance. By practicing non-resistance, you will become so expert that you have developed this strength in you that no matter how much pain it's coming, I am not resisting. No matter what my mind is saying, I am not resisting. So you have now developed a faculty of non-resistance of certain level of pain and suffering. Now you go in day-to-day life. Suddenly some mental suffering comes. Suddenly some body pain comes. What will happen? Immediately, because of the programming and the willpower, you will not react. You will not create resistance. That means you will not create miseries in your life. You understand that? It's all science. It's all, there is no philosophy in this. Philosophy means I read a book, you understand the book and liberate yourself. It's not going to happen. I need to work on my body. When I say I don't like it, what I'm saying? Do I even know what I'm saying? That means I am creating resistance to something. Yes or no? When I say I don't like this, that means my body and my mind is creating resistance. It's simple, nothing else than that. Alright? So meditation, unfortunately, Western world is been corrupted by all that kind of wrong meditation. They came to India. They went to Rishikesh, Haridwar. They went to some dodgy places in India and learned from those gurus which had no ideas. And even what they learned, they took 50%. Now they are doing beer yoga. Do you know beer yoga? Have you heard? They are doing beer yoga. Yeah, you drink one beer and then do yoga. Some are doing yoga nidra. Some are doing some sort of a bullshit which is actually damaging more than improving. See, when you go to yoga meditation, you are playing with your mind and body. Your physiological, your psychological, it is too much on the stake. Is your life is on the stake, yes or no? You are investing your body, you are investing your mind. Now how do I know whether I am in the right place or wrong place? That is very important to know. Otherwise you are investing into the wrong place. Once the permanent damage happens, nobody can save you then. And that is what happening with all these dodgy yoga and meditation places. They are becoming more crooked than becoming a nice human being. If you have seen, you would have seen the spiritual ego of some people, that is more than the normal ego. So one has to check, that's why I call you every week and check your progress. Are you progressing? Are you progressing? Is your life is getting better? Or are you feeling more blissful, or are you feeling more stressed? What is means? If I see you telling me that it's not improving anything, my physical, my mental or my emotional, I will say stop coming here. Don't come here. Because either you are not able to understand what I am teaching, or you have certain way of thinking. Because if nothing is helping you here, then it is dangerous for you to come here. Yes or no? It is as simple as that. That's why I check progress every week. If you are not improving, ask me why I am not improving. As a student, what you can do? Okay, I am doing yoga, I am doing meditation. I must be doing something wrong. Can you please correct my practice? What is my practice I am doing? And how do we do that? From day to day life. after doing session, if you are doing 1 hour meditation, you need to tell me, first day I did this happened, second day I did this happened, exact things. Third day I did, my legs was paining. Fourth day I did, my head was paining. You have to tell me exact things. Then we can improve on that. You don't have to take your own decision. When I say do 1 hour, people come to me and say, oh, I did 10 minutes, I did 15 minutes, I did 14 minutes. It's like you go to doctor. Doctor said, you have this disease. You have to take 2 tablets in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. And you use your head. Oh, I could only take 1. I could only take half. I could only take none. Means you are expert than doctor. Will that medicine work? Do you understand? If I am saying do 1 hour, I know you can do 1 hour. So you have to push your limits and sit 1 hour and see what happens. Why 45 minutes? Why 30 minutes? Are you going to die if you do 1 hour? No, because your mind and your body is convincing you that you cannot do it. When your teacher is saying you can do it, right or wrong? Your mind and body is saying, no, you can't do it. I am doing 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Why can't you say, okay, my teacher told me I can do 1 hour and I am going to practice 1 hour. Okay? So what will happen? 45 minutes after or 30 minutes after, your body will start to pain. Your mind will start to, then you say, okay, I'm not doing, okay, my mind and my body not letting me do, but at least nobody stopping me to sit here. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I am telling you 1 hour meditation, if you cannot do that, if you do 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but at least you can sit there for 1 hour or no? What I'm asking. So next time, this week also you do 1 hour. Okay? I don't care whether you do it or you don't do it. You sit there in one place 1 hour. That's it. At least develop that faculty to sit there for 1 hour. That is my practice. Whether I do or I don't do. जब तक होता है, we will see कि 50 minutes हो रहा है, 10 minutes हो रहा है, 20, 30 minutes, and see the magic after that. My teacher told me to sit 1 hour. I am going to sit 1 hour. No matter what time, maybe first time it will happen for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But you committed to sit 1 hour. Even I will sit and I will do nothing. I will just sit. I will open my eyes and I will just sit. I will not watch phone or nothing. I will just sit. My teacher told me to sit here 1 hour. That's it. The day your body will know, your mind will know, no matter what I do, what kind of games we play internally to disturb this person. But now he has new strategy. He is saying, okay, my mind and body doesn't let me do it, still I am going to sit. So the mind and body will say, they will give up. They will say, oh, this man has decided to sit 1 hour, irrespective of whether we support him or we don't support him, they give in. What they do? They give in and experience that on your own. 2-3 days, try that, they will give you trouble. Mind will give their trouble, body will give their trouble. But when mind and body sees that this person is committed to sit 1 hour, irrespective of whether we support him or we don't support him, what mind and body will do? They will stop resisting. Then you will see that you are continually doing meditation. Okay? So we will do.
Every 5 minutes there's a bell start ringing.
Yeah.
So I think it helps me to do, like, then I know how many things have gone. So it gives me kind of how far I can go.
See, again I am telling you one thing, understand, this is very intellectually, understanding is very necessary. Physical exercise will not take you anywhere, or you have to intellectually understand exactly what is happening. For initially what you are saying is okay. okay, for initial time. But you don't need to count a time. You put alarm in your phone for 1 hour. Then you don't need 1 hour, 5 minute key, how much time. So that means every 5 minutes your mind will say, 5 minutes is done, another 55 minutes is left. Then another bell will ring, mind will say, oh now 10 minutes is done. Again start craving. More time should go fast. Again mind starts, okay no, now 40 minutes, oh now 10 minutes. Create resistance, create craving, create resistance. See what is happening? Again you are creating dependency on outside world. Whether I drink for meditation or whether I take any external substance or whether I take any time, that is for my mind. Na? I need to become self-sufficient. I sit, that's it, eyes closed, finish. I'm going to sit here 1 hour, that's it. No matter what happens, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do. Even if my mind wanders away and creates a lot of resistance, okay, I will stop doing meditation, but I will sit 1 hour, that's it. Okay, can we do this week? We try this. And what I'm saying, no philosophy, I'm saying try on yourself. No? Unless and until you try, how will you know? Alright, let's do it. Yeah.
With the time, what happens is your body will have its own internal clock. So when you leave that aside and when you start with the Vipassana, you will come to know when you do the rounds, like okay, is it 4 rounds, 1 hour, 5 rounds, you know, and you don't understand, you know that 1 hour has passed. You don't need to count. Just know that it's not done. Body will have an internal clock. Because we are so used to the outside clock, we have lost that sense.
But my question is, why do you even keep track of it? Why do you want to keep track of it? We don't need to keep a track of it. Time is an illusion, okay? Time is not real. There is no 1 hour or 10 hours or 15 hours. Time is psychological. Understand? If you want me to go into the very minute detail, I can go and tell you that there is no time. The problem is that what we are facing, the problem of 1 hour, because it is in your psychological, that 1 hour is that long duration, okay? But in actual life, there is no time. For example, if you go and ask any bird or any animal, what time is it? What they will tell you? They are living being like us, okay? You ask them, what if suppose one animal were talking? You ask any animal and go, what time it is? What they will say? They will say now. What they will say? They only know one time, that is now. This moment is their time. They live moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. What calendar? You ask them what date it is, what month it is. They will say, are you crazy? It is always now and here. They have not developed this psychological clock. What we are doing, easiest way to understand. When you are happy, the whole day goes like this, yes or no? When you are sad, 1 hour takes ages, yes? So what does that tell you? There is no time. Time is an illusion. It depends upon your inner clock. If your inner clock is correct, the whole life will go like this. If your inner clock is not right, you will drag yourself day by day by day by day from one day to another day, 1 hour to another hour. If your inner clock is set, you sit here 10 hours, nothing will happen to you in meditation. Forget about 1 hour. Ancient days, people used to meditate for months in the cave. Why? Because once time become illusion, you know that there is no time. The clock was created just to manage our day-to-day schedule. But that was the reference point. 2 o'clock I had to go there, 3 o'clock I had to reach to office, 4 o'clock I had to come home. They were reference point to schedule your days and activities, but they were never meant to tie you with the clock. Right now what is happening? You are tied to clock. Now you are not, the clock was invented that you can schedule your life better, but now you have made it an object where now you are running as per the clock. Do you understand what is happening? So clock's invention was to simplify your life, to add more efficiency to your life, but now you have created psychologically limitation. Now your every activity depends upon the clock, where the clock were just a measurement of your activities. Now what you say, I got 1 hour, I cannot do this. Whereas the clock was designed so that whatever your activity is doing, you can record that time, not to limit your activity. Do you understand the basic fundamental what is happening? This is called inner engineering, okay? When you work on your inner clock, outer clock does not matter. This is all psychological. When you look back at your life, it is gone like that. Where you see years. Do you even remember what you did last year whole day, every day? If I say on 15 January 1990, what did you do whole day? Sorry? Oh. Yeah, that is a good answer. All right, let's start.